Hey tea heads, this is Don from Mayleaf. In this video, we're going to be sharing with you one of my most favorite ice cream recipes. This is a rock oolong ice cream with a salted prune and port ripple. I absolutely adore this recipe. We came up with it a couple of years ago and it's taken us a while to make this video, but I hope that you give it a try. If you are vegan, then you're going to want to convert the custard base to a vegan custard base. There are other recipes online on how you can do that. We are using for this ice cream a rock oolong. This is our Beidou or our lost robe yencha, but you can use any dark roasted yencha rock oolong that you have in your stash. I would not advise you using your super high grade rock oolongs because you are going to be using a fair amount of it in this, but it has to be a good quality tea. Maybe you have a Da Hong Pao blend or something similar in your cupboard, or maybe you want to grab some to try this recipe. Of course, feel free to adapt and change teas and play around, but I highly recommend that you give this recipe a go. Let's dive in. Let's start with the ingredients. To make the tea custard base, you will need 120 grams of sugar. This is the right sweetness for me, but feel free to adapt or change to a sugar alternative like erythritol if you want. I hardly ever eat sweet foods, so if I'm going to eat ice cream, I tend to go for the fully indulgent version. You need 5 egg yolks, 300 ml or just over a cup of double cream. This is UK double cream, which is around 48% fat. So if you're in the US, then you can use a heavy cream, which is a bit lower in fat, unfortunately, but still works. 400 ml or just under 1.5 cups of whole full fat milk, 10 grams of a decent quality rock oolong, and 1/8 teaspoon of good quality salt. For the port and prune syrup, you're going to need 75 grams of sugar. Ignore the color difference in the sugars. We just didn't have enough of that golden sugar in our cupboards, but you can use either white or golden sugar. 25 ml of port or any fortified wine of your choice. 60 grams of good quality prunes. Don't get those hard dried varieties, but try to get some nice soft plump ones. Another 10 grams of rock oolong. So yes, you're going to be using 20 grams of tea in this recipe, so you can decide how extravagant you want to be when selecting your oolong. And finally, another 1/8 teaspoon of salt. You can add a bit more, up to 1/4 teaspoon if you, like me, enjoy a saltier ripple. You're also going to need 200 ml of boiling water and ideally an ice cream maker, which is sat for at least a day in the freezer. You can make this ice cream without the ice cream maker. If you look online, you can find clever ways to do this, and I will put links in the description. Let's get the oolong custard base going first. So take your 10 grams of oolong tea and add it to a saucepan with 400 ml of milk. Turn on the heat and stir regularly. You do not want this milk to boil, so control the heat so that the milk is on a low simmer for about 10 minutes. Meanwhile, mix the sugar and the egg yolks and whisk thoroughly to combine until those yolks start to become lighter in color. Once your tea milk is nicely infused, it's best to strain it into a jug so that you can control how quickly you add the hot milk to the eggs. You want to add the milk slowly and continuously whisk to avoid scrambling your eggs. Once about half of the milk has been combined with the eggs, then you can be a bit more liberal about mixing in the rest without worrying. Strain the egg and milk mixture back into a saucepan to clear out any potential scrambled egg, and then put the pan uncovered on a very, very low heat and stir constantly. Please be careful here. You do not want to scramble those eggs, so keep the heat low and keep stirring. You can also do this over a bain-marie if you feel like you want to be a bit safer, but it's not necessary as long as you give the custard your undivided attention. So you keep stirring until the custard reaches a nice, thick, velvety consistency. This is pretty much when you can run a finger through the custard on the spatula and the line stays visible. Add the custard to a bowl and mix in the double cream thoroughly and then cover and allow to cool. The colder this custard becomes, the better, so that the ice cream machine doesn't have to work so hard and can churn it more easily. So I advise bringing it to room temperature and then putting it into the fridge for a few hours, or you can take a shortcut and put it in the freezer for an hour to get it really chilled, but don't forget it in there. Right, let's make the salted prune and port syrup. So you add the prunes and the other 10 grams of oolong to a bowl and pour over 200 milliliters of boiling water. Cover and allow to steep and infuse for an hour. Once that's ready, add the sugar, salt and port to a saucepan and then strain over the tea and prune liquor. Now you want to remove the prunes from the tea leaves and cut them into nice chunks and reserve them for later. The tea leaves themselves have done their job, but you can certainly try cold brewing the leaves if you fancy. Turn up the heat on the syrup to medium-high and stir regularly. You want the syrup to bubble and reduce quite vigorously like this. So just keep stirring and keep checking out the consistency until you can see the bottom of the pan when you separate the syrup with a spatula and it stays separated for quite a few seconds, just like this. Please do not use the finger method to test the texture like we did with the custard, because this syrup will be very hot and will burn you. Transfer the syrup to a container and allow to cool to room temperature, and it will become very thick and sticky. Okay, let's churn this ice cream. If you're using an ice cream maker, then take it out of the freezer and pour in the custard and begin churning. If you're not using an ice cream maker, then use one of the alternative methods. Again, I'll put a link in the description for you. Check it out. There is something super satisfying about just simply watching homemade ice cream churn. Once the ice cream has reached this kind of consistency, then add your tea-soaked prune pieces to the mix and allow that to combine. And just before you are ready to transfer to a bowl, swirl in your port and prune ripple and give that a minute or so to churn. You don't want to add the ripple too early because we don't want it to be mixed up with the ice cream, but instead be a separate ripple layer running through the mixture. I have never known an ice cream maker to finish the ice cream to a fully frozen consistency, so I tend to work quickly and transfer this mixture to a cold container and then put it in the freezer for at least a couple of hours to finish. And here we are, we have the result. This is our rock oolong ice cream with a salted prune and port ripple. And we've got our most skilled taste tester here, the expert of all things ice cream. Aya, do you like ice cream?
I like ice cream.
You like ice cream. Do you want to try the ice cream?
Yes.
Okay, go for it. Try the ice cream. I'll sit you up a little bit and you can try the ice cream and let me know what you think, okay? Yeah? So feel free, of course, as we said, to adapt the recipe. You can change the sugar levels. I think that this sugar level is right for me, it's maybe a little bit sweet for me, but I'm not used to eating sugar, so I think it's the right level for most people. What do you think? Is it good?
She's just had a mouthful now.
Do you like it? Can you taste the tea?
Merci. Maman aussi en prend un. Cheers.
Cheers, everybody.
Cheese.
Cheers. Prends-en plus. Maman tête. That's delicious.
First of all, you can really taste the tea.
Like,
Okay, the tea is the star. You can taste that rock oolong really, really well,
oopsies.
and you can taste it all throughout this very, unctuous, voluptuous, creamy, soft, smooth ice cream. So that runs through the whole base of the ice cream, and then you get the texture, the chewy, sweet texture of the prunes, and that ripple adds a little tang, a little acidity to it, but still is sweet, and the saltiness of the syrup as well, of the ripple, is really, really good. Stop pushing me away.
The best ice cream.
It really is top.
Best ice cream ever.
Honestly, try this recipe out. Hey, stop pushing me away. That's not nice, okay?
I'm like,
We got 3 balls of ice cream here. You can have a whole ball for yourself.
oh, so creamy as well.
Yeah. This, honestly, if this was on a menu, ice cream vendors out there, I'm telling you, it's like a really, really sort of next level rum raisin sort of adult note to it.
Yeah.
But as you can see, it goes down super well with kids too. It's just a delight. Now, you can obviously change it up yourself.
Yeah.
You could have different teas.
Yeah. You can definitely try different teas.
Yeah, try different teas. But
that worked really well.
Yeah, start with this one. I would definitely recommend starting with this one. But yeah, you can, as long as you follow the same sort of process. So making the custard with, by infusing the tea in the custard, and then making a tea ripple, a tea and fruit ripple. Okay, all right.
And you don't have to do the tea and fruit ripple. You can just leave it
You could,
like that.
but I think it just adds that whole other little bit of interest in the mouth.
Yeah.
Actually, sugar level is perfect. Okay, all right. So you get the idea. Highly, highly recommended recipe. Yeah. Okay, last words to you.
Et qu'est-ce que tu veux dire à propos de la glace?
Come on.
Okay.
Here,
Frustrant.
here's frustrating here. Here, use this one. Here. Oh, okay, do it yourself. Don't get annoyed, okay? Oh,
no.
Here you go.
Oh no, my
no. All right, she got the whole bowl to herself. You happy now? Yeah? Is it nice? Yeah. So, child approved, adult approved. Definitely try this out yourself. Feel free to adapt the recipe. What teas would you try?
I've tried Genmai matcha before, but I'm sure there's loads of variations you can do.
Yeah, you could try anything. In fact, you could even go down the route of maybe some raw pu'er with a more light custard base. Something that's a bit more kind of off-piste.
Tub Highness.
That would be an expensive ice cream.
Yeah.
But feel free, depends on how extravagant you're feeling. Definitely though, I highly recommend, probably more than any recipe we've released ever before, this one, please try it out. It is delicious.
Oh,
it's such a winner. That's it, tea heads. Check out our other videos, taste our teas wherever you're in the world by browsing mayleaf.com, and come visit us if you're ever in London. Other than that, this is Ayana, this is Celine, and I'm Don from Mayleaf. Thank you for being a part of the revelation of true tea. Stay away from those tea bags. Keep drinking the good stuff and spread the word, because nobody deserves bad tea.
Yum.
Bye.
Bye.